Good morning, Automator Series followers. And today I am with the very lovely Emilie. So firstly, thanks so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gavin, for giving me the opportunity to talk with you today.
Yeah, and as for a nice change, we're actually on the same time zone, which is always much more easy to organize and schedule, and no one's tired while the other's awake, etc. So for the people who do not know you yet, I'd love to just pass it over to you to say hey to everyone, and also just give an introduction about what you're doing, like what your focus is, where your passions lie.
Yeah, sure. So thank you very much. So I'm originally from Switzerland. I moved to Hong Kong 8 years ago with my husband. And 6 years ago, I founded a cosmetic teeth whitening spa here in Hong Kong. And when COVID started, of course, we've been severely hit. And then I started to develop symptoms and started to get sick. So I've been in hospital for several times, going surgery. Doctors were trying to pinpoint what I had. They were trying to find a cause without any success. So I've been spending the last, I think, 7 months being sick with fever in COVID time. And at some point, I just decided to address the whole thing in a different way. And instead of trying to look at the symptoms, trying to look at the whole and look at the imbalances. And then I turned to coaching and to more holistic kind of healing, like acupuncture, kinesiology, aromatherapy. And all these different sciences were saying the same. I was suffering from stress. So once I started to work on my stress management, I completely healed without any medication, nothing. And so then I thought, well, maybe I could just do like a coaching course, because it can be beneficial for me. So I can use it on myself. Yeah. And then because I have to manage staff as well for my teeth whitening business, I thought, well, it can always be useful to have an extra skill. And then when I just took this course, it was like, wow, I just love it. And this, I just find my passion in coaching. And I just then listened to my inner calling. And today I'm so grateful that COVID happened, because otherwise I wouldn't be here talking with you on camera today. And I mean, I wouldn't have listened to my inner calling. So I'm just so thankful and happy that this has happened. And then, so I'm now in coaching. I'm doing also a specialized course for medical coaching to better address people with chronic illnesses, so post-traumatic syndromes, stress, burnout. And yeah, so the whole perspective, my whole point of view has changed. And I'm not the same person that I was a year ago, definitely. And yeah, I just love it.
Yeah, it's interesting that you were saying, oh, you're actually really thankful for what happened, because it wouldn't have put you on this path. I think that's just been a big theme I've had with so many people so far, conversation wise, saying like, if they hadn't been forced into a different direction because of what's happened in the last 2 years, they wouldn't be where they are. Like, I also, if I hadn't stayed in Bali as long as I did, it was meant to only be 2 and a bit months, like I was saying. If it hadn't been as long as it was, I wouldn't have ended up taking on some of the coaching I did as well, and joining some of the programs that I did. And yeah, for me as well, it's been one of the biggest transformational periods, just because of where my focus went, and kind of not what I got forced into, but the circumstances kind of took you out of the regular routine and made you think, like, what can I do differently, type of thing.
Yeah, and I also think that because of COVID, we were not able to travel or to compensate with little things, from life that are like very maybe superficial sometimes, but they just help you to cope with the daily life. So many people were just like staying with what they have, and then they realized things needed to be addressed. And this is a big topic and a big thing that I'm seeing also with my clients today, that they're just realize sometimes they're not happy and they need to change something, but it's like from an internal transformation. It's like a personal development journey.
Yeah. I mean, so for you, this transition into coaching yourself, being a coach, that's pretty new for you. But have you always been interested in things like holistic kind of lifestyles and alternative kind of ways to heal yourself, meditation? Like, has that always been a focus for you?
So I used to like holistic things, but I was, let's say, if I was sick, I was always tending to go like to the doctor and get like medication. I thought that's a quick way, and I was trusting I'm not saying that the traditional medication is not good. That is not what I'm saying, but I was
Yeah.
really trusting the whole system, and I got upset. I got like completely misdriven by some of the doctors here, and then when I realized I trusted my body, I could trust my body, then this makes a whole difference. And I
Mm,
think this is also my relationship with my own body and being able to trust that I can heal myself, that made the whole difference.
yeah. Yeah, I think like I don't know why, but as we kind of brought that up about you kind of were just used to the kind of regular medical system, because obviously where you're from, it's a very good funded public system. So you don't really need to worry about the expenses. You can just kind of go get checked up and whatnot, I think, in your country as well.
Yeah.
But I was thinking in the US, like for example, where I mean, the medical system is trash from what I've seen. Like people get the most ridiculous bills, and yeah, people don't even want to go because they're worried what they're going to get charged. I wonder if there's like a higher percentage of people interested in more holistic and alternative ways just because of that, just because they can't afford to even go get themselves checked up or kind of uh, handle things when they come up.
Well, I guess it really has to do with the mindset also. Like here in Hong Kong, people are used to like Chinese medication, Chinese medicine, herbs. So
Yeah,
it's part of the mentality to you always have here like really the Chinese medicine and the Western medicine, and it's a
yeah,
good complement. So I think you need to be also open for that, because
yeah.
it's not only about a money, but just like the mindset, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of, I guess Bali also has their jamu, which is like that kind of whole healing elixir, which is it's like nothing like it's not like these mysterious, mystical ingredients. It's just like a mixture of very healthy focused things in regards to like vitamins and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess same here. It's like they've also always focused on not necessarily running to kind of pharmacies straight away or anything like that.
Hmm. True.
Yeah.
It's a big difference.
And
Yeah.
so for you, so you kind of came to the other coaching to get support for yourself to kind of work through some of your own stuff. I mean, you obviously must have seen big improvements, which made you want to go then teach it to other people.
Yeah, and more than teach, I want to really to help people, because it's like I've been there, and when people when all these like coaches or kinesiologists, acupuncturists were telling me you're suffering from stress, I was like, no, I'm not stressed. So I was not even aware of that, and I think when I realized I was in so much pressure and that there was so much going on in my body, then I was like, oh my God, that's I had no idea. And I think if I can help people just get better, I think this is like just like, yeah, I'd just be happy to help people get better, because I think today, and especially in Hong Kong, the mental health is somehow neglected. Here it's like everything is, oh, are you busy? Busy is good.
Yeah,
And because everything is linked to money here, it's like very, yeah, pretty much everything is driven by the monetary aspect.
yeah.
So I think we also have to consider ourselves and be able to trust our body and just be happy.
Yeah, that's a big thing. I mean, I guess that's the whole thing of the culture or environment that you're raised up in. Like that becomes the norm. And even if it's
Mhm.
working 20-hour days, if that's what you've kind of seen since like being a kid, you're like, okay, yes, that's what people do is they sleep at their desks and they stay at the office for
Yeah.
20 hours type of thing.
and then you just accumulate different jobs. I mean, even like it starts in the schooling system here, because I see like the kids, they usually take some bus like 6:30 in the morning, and then after the whole day in class, they would do like extra activities, because there is a huge competition in Hong Kong. And then you see the poor kids going home like at 5 or 6, and then they have another 2 hours of homework. So, you know, like you're conditioned since the very early age. And I don't think this is a healthy lifestyle. Like I have a 4-year-old, and I'm like, no, today you're just going to play in the park, nothing else.
Yeah.
And I just want her to enjoy these precious moments. And it's also has to do, you know, with being present and living the moment, being in the now moments, and not thinking of, oh, I need to do this because next month I have this or that, and yesterday I didn't do that. So I think we have to just enjoy and be in the moment.
Yeah, I mean that's yeah, I think like you were saying as well with the last kind of 2 years, I think that's been a big shift for people, is because you just have people have had so much more time. They're just in the same place a lot of the time, and that kind of force people to work on their relationships, even if they were living with someone, or just like so much time to think like, what do I want to do, and kind of learn. Well, I know I learned to appreciate the smaller things for sure. So if you kind of take yourself back a little bit to when you were trying to look for the solutions to kind of for yourself, like kind of how did you start looking for that? Like how did you come across the direction you eventually went to go?
So I remember it was okay. I remember doctor were telling me, you have a tumor, you need to go straight away to surgery. So I went to surgery. They removed my appendix, and then they say, oh, there wasn't this. You have no tumor. And then I woke up. You know, I just had a full surgery, and I was like, no, this cannot go on like this. And then they were like, oh, maybe next we need to put you on steroids. And, you know, so it was like giving me more medication, doing more stupid things to my body. And I was like, stop, I need to stop, because I've been doing this for the past 6 months and it isn't working. So let's try to look at something different, and let's try another way of looking at things. And then I had this friend who just asked me, but how are you doing? And you know, she was genuinely asking this question, and are you sleeping well? Do you feel stressed? I'm like, but well, this is I'm not sick because I'm tired, you know. And for me that was the automatic answer. And then I was like, but let's try to think differently. And then this is how I said, okay, let's maybe try to work with a kinesiologist, and then he advised me to a coach. And then I was also combining the whole different kind of things, and I really felt better, and I can see the improvement in my body. So yeah, this is how it all started.
Yeah, but that's pretty extreme. It's like take out your appendix. Like, oh, we didn't maybe need to do that, but they're like,
yeah. Luckily, I don't need it for a living, but
yeah. It's like they take out your your lung, and they're like, oh, maybe we should have left that in there.
exactly. So that was pretty extreme, but that was a good wake-up call, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely imagine that rattling your trust and kind of not belief, but yeah, trust in like traditional systems. You're like, how does that happen even? Like they're like, oh, we thought it was this, oh, my bad, type of thing.
Exactly, yes. And this is how the whole trust thing was somehow a little bit broken. And then I was like, well, if this is not working, then let's try something else. So
Yeah, I guess that also comes down to, it's like people don't often, like you hear stories and you hear other people being like, oh, I don't trust the systems and this and that. You're like, why are you being like that? But then something like it happens to yourself or like a family member, it makes it more real. And you're like, oh, wow, these systems could be like, have pretty big flaws at times.
but then again, I'm not saying the whole system is bad, right? I mean, my experience for this particular case, I think that when it comes to like more mental health, because it was all related to stress, and stress cannot be spots. Like, you know, you cannot just make a blood test and find, oh, you're stressed in the blood results. I wouldn't say, like, of course you can't like heal maybe I would say cancer by essential oils and coaching, so I'm not saying that the system is bad. I'm just saying that for what I had, and in my particular case, I was a little bit upset with the way it was handled. At least maybe here, maybe in another part of the world that would have been different. So again, I just don't want to make any generalization.
No, I think people realize we can't just like riff in on ideas, like nothing's kind of. So for you, you mentioned that you find yourself working with people kind of who've gone through some like traumatic stress of some fashion, but is there also a specific kind of background with the people you're working with, like age groups? Are you working with women mostly, just so people have clarity?
So I think women would tend to come more towards me, maybe because the way I talk about what I'm doing, I refer a lot about emotional well-being, emotional health, and maybe women tend to be more open to that. Also because I'm optionally including like essential oils, and again, this is maybe more appealing to the woman age, to the woman group. In terms of age, I would say it's from, so far it's like 20 to 45 usually. So quite wide range, yes.
Yeah. But I guess it just also shows that no matter the age group, like people like even young as 20 are still going through pretty stressful kind of emotions. And I guess it just depends on our backgrounds, our upbringing, which type of work environments we've been in, things like that.
Yeah, exactly. And then, like there were a lot of, I've been doing a lot of work with young women, like when they just graduated, but they have like no hope or little hope for the future, or like sometimes you're supposed to travel, get an internship somewhere else. So I've been working also like helping on a completely free basis with this kind of women, just to help them and like make sure that they enter the real world life or working life with like well equipped, I would say.
Yeah, 100%. No, that's beautiful. I mean, what's really cool to me is just how quick that transition was. That you kind of came onto these things for yourself, and then you just saw sounds like really quick improvements that you were like, I have to kind of share this with other people. Like the benefits for me were so big. Like I got to share this.
And I guess this is when you're doing something with your heart, and you're doing it fully, and it's like your true passion. I guess that's what is happening. You're just doing like with your whole person, and I guess that makes the difference than when you're just doing like a job just for the purpose of paying your bills at the end of the month. You know what I mean? Then you're not doing it in the same way.
Yeah. I mean, so speaking of, so when you made that transition, you decided I want to help other people. Well, yeah, help other people with this, guide them along it. How did you kind of go about that? Like first deciding who you want to be working with and just finding people that resonated with you.
So I was, as I said, at first I was like, okay, let's do this, because I still have my teeth whitening business, which is like supporting me as well. But then for the rest, I was like, okay, let's try to do also voluntary work and really help people, because I think this is so important. So it's all started, with that, and then it just goes with word of mouth. I just have an Instagram page and websites, but I'm not doing any advertising per se, because I don't believe that you're just like Googling best coach in Hong Kong. I don't think it goes that way. I really believe in word of mouth. And again, the reason why I'm doing this now is like for the relationship with people. So I really want to keep this close relationship. I work on a one-on-one basis. I'm not doing any program, for example. So it goes by word of mouth.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, it sounds like you must have, though, when you decided to go the direction, you did put out into the world, like, this is what I'm doing now. I'd love to work with these type of people. Was there something like that?
Yes, exactly. And I reached out because I had a mentor in Hong Kong, and I reached out to her as well and say, listen, I want really to help people, and I don't care about like what they will be paying me, but I really want to help all these women or even men, but I got to work more with women, as I was mentioning, and because the world is so difficult and tough, especially at that moment, that we need to make sure we're in a good condition to be able to better start the day in the best way, or the journey in the best way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I think that's really powerful for people to hear. It's just that how you kind of got that first couple people you're working with is just by putting out into the world what you're doing. It's like you got to let people know what you're doing and where your interests are, where your passions are.
Exactly. Yeah, you need to speak out. Huh?
Yeah.
It cost me at first because I'm not the kind of person who really like to brand myself, or but then when I just talk about coaching or essential oils, it just like there is so much going on. I feel so bubbly when I talk about that, and then I just like, it's just the passion and that talks, it's not me.
I mean, would you say obviously we only know each other kind of from this way, but would you say you're quite like vulnerable and like quite authentic in your sharing, like in your stories and stuff? Like, do you feel like you put
Yeah,
yourself out there quite a lot?
I think this is important, to be authentic. I'm not trying to be someone else, otherwise it wouldn't resonate with me. I know that I'm not maybe the best speaker, or I'm kind of, usually I would consider myself maybe a more shy person, so, but I think it's all right, and it's good to just like be vulnerable, as you say, and mention, yes, this is me. I'm not perfect, I'm not intending to be perfect, but this is just who I am.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, yeah, that's the big thing. It's like, even for someone like you said you're not actually that kind of extra. Oh, you said you're not that like good of a speaker. You're a bit more of a shy person, but like still, you putting yourself out there. I think that's the big thing. It's like you're not going to get like nothing bad's really going to happen of it, and it's really important to feel like they can relate, for people to think they can relate.
Yeah, and I think it's also convey the message that you need to do things that resonates with yourself, and not trying to be someone else. Although sometimes, of course, I'm following some people on Instagram, and they're like so natural in the way they talk, but I'm not trying to imitate, because it wouldn't be me, and then it wouldn't resonate, and there would be internal conflict, which would lead to other problems, so just be yourself and accept. It's all about acceptance as well, because if you accept yourself and you're aware of what are maybe I wouldn't call them weaknesses, because then you can transform your weaknesses into strengths if you are aware of them.
Yeah.
And you can build on that.
Yeah, no, that's powerful. I mean, I'm curious. So when you started doing the one-on-one work, what kind of surprised you about coaching? Like, were there things you weren't kind of prepared for, or things you wish you had known, or things you just didn't expect?
So on a personal level, I wouldn't expect such a change when I started this coaching journey, like in terms of personal development. Wow, that was a big change. And I'm very happy about that. Then in terms of one-on-one, at first I had like, I was taking every single conversation very personally, and I wanted to help and make a huge change in every single conversation. So I had to, like, also my mentor told me, you need to put some boundary, because I was like really affected, taking everything so personally that it was not like healthy either.
Yeah.
And I found myself now like having like I'm just putting a mirror, in front of people, and to help them see better. It's not my role to see them better. They have to see themselves better.
Okay, so it's like what you thought coaching was before you actually started coaching was slightly different than what you needed to do to actually get the best results for people and things like that.
Yes, exactly. I thought first, like, yeah, maybe I could give some advices, and like, well, no, coaching is not about giving advices. It needs, the resource must come from the clients. Otherwise, it won't be sustainable in the long term. Because the whole point about coaching is that they don't need me for the rest of their life, right? They might need me to work on one particular topic, but they would need to have this mindset change that allows them then to work by themselves, and they don't need me anymore.
Yeah, no.
So, like for me, the most the biggest achievement is when a client say, well, I'm sorry, but I think this is our last lesson, or not lesson, our last consultation. And this procures me such a great joy. I'm like, well, I did my job for, I've helped these clients, and now I know that they can fly on them on themselves.
Yeah, it's giving people the tools for them to help themselves essentially.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but the crazy thing is, I've seen it with myself in the coaching I've had is same with the person I worked with. They gave me lots of tools and frameworks to kind of help myself, but that will get you kind of a bit further, and then you'll kind of be in a new point of life or new kind of direction now, and then you need assistance again, and that's kind of where building that really long-term relationship can start growing.
Exactly.
Mhm. I love the fact that because since this is also fresh in your mind, so this is quite a unique conversation. I really like this. What's what's like one thing you wish you had mm, done differently from when you started? Like if someone was just starting to become a coach, what's like one thing you would tell them to be like, oh, this is one thing I wish I'd done differently.
Okay. So, for me, that I really discovered a true passion here, that I was like, I want to learn more and more and more. And at some point, I was following 3 courses together simultaneously
Mhm.
because I was just so passionate about it. So I was able to do it all, but if now I would do it differently, I would just do 1 course at a time so I can fully be present and fully focus on something.
Yeah.
I was so impatient to learn that I was doing a lot at the same time, but I wish I would have taken one step at a time.
Oh, you mean you're doing 3 courses kind of all at the same focus?
Yeah, I was doing like I was doing like 2 different kind of coaching course plus plus NLP plus specialization course on aromatherapy. So that was, yeah, quite a lot.
Okay, so this is for your own learning as well. I mean, and also for
Yes.
when you went into coaching yourself, like what's one thing you wish, I mean, you would tell someone now, like starting to do it yourself as a business?
Um, it takes time. Be
Hmm.
patient, because it takes time to get the first clients. It's not like something that because you're just establishing your practice or putting the website live. I remember I put the website and I was like, okay, now I can get a client anytime.
Yeah.
But of course it doesn't, it's not because the website is live that the next day you will get a call asking you for a session. So just be patient, make sure that you're fully committed, and don't let this passion that you have like being somehow affected by the fact that it's longer than what you would expect to get the first clients.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's some great points for people to take away from the episode, especially if they're just at the start of their journey as well, just because you're now about a year, almost just like about a year into it, and it's like everything's still very fresh in your mind and it's quite new transition. So I think, yeah, really thanks so much for kind of sharing your insights and your experiences today.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah. And for people who want to check out more about what you're doing and to even maybe just reach out for a conversation, which way would you direct people to contact with you?
So they can either contact me on my website, it's essentialmindcoaching.com,
Mhm.
or they can reach me on Instagram under it's Emilie Ducommun. Then I can just like send the details for you later on. I think that's the easiest way nowadays, either social media or website. So
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously we'll include everything in the description so they can just check that out. But yeah, thanks so
awesome.
much for your time this morning.
Yeah, thank you so much for this nice chat, Gavin. It was my pleasure.
I hope you enjoyed that episode of the Automator series as much as I enjoyed having it. And there are two things I want you to do now. I want you firstly to follow me on YouTube, get that subscription in, because you're going to see all the new episodes popping up in that case, and you can stay on top of the series. And the second thing is, I want you to reach out to me. If anything we discussed on the episode today resonated with you in regards to potentially taking a jump into an online spiritual coaching business, or you already have a business and you're wanting to grow that out and you're feeling like you could be impacting a lot more lives, but you don't quite have the time right now, you don't quite have the freedom you wanted, and you don't quite have those systems in place, I want you to reach out to me. It's a no pressure, no strings attached. Send me a message on Facebook, LinkedIn, email, whatever you prefer, and we can just have a conversation and a bit of a back and forth in regards to where you're at, what you're looking for, and how I might be able to help you impact more lives with what you're doing.